Why smart people keep making devastating choices in the digital age. Here's something nobody wants to admit. We're drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. You've got a smartphone that can answer literally any question in seconds, yet you're more confused about your life direction than ever before. Sound familiar? Think about it. You scroll through endless advice about career moves, relationship red flags, investment strategies. You follow the gurus, buy the courses, download the apps. But when it comes to that massive decision keeping you up at night, you're still paralyzed. Why? Because modern solutions are treating symptoms, not the disease. Enter King Solomon, a ruler from 3,000 years ago who never touched a computer, never attended a seminar, never posted on social media. Yet his decision-making framework has survived longer than any empire, any technology, any self-help trend. And here's the kicker. It's more relevant today than it's ever been. The legendary story: two women claimed the same baby. No paternity tests, no lawyers, no lengthy investigation. Solomon proposed cutting the child in half. One woman agreed. The other begged him to give the baby to her rival instead. Instantly, he knew the real mother. That's not just clever. That's understanding human nature at a level that artificial intelligence can't touch. What makes this fascinating is how multiple spiritual traditions preserve this wisdom. Judaism honors him as the temple builder who spoke directly with the divine. Christianity sees his wisdom as foreshadowing sacred truth. Islam knows him as Suleiman, who commanded winds and mystical beings. Buddhism and Hinduism, while not mentioning him by name, echo his principles of discernment and non-attachment. Even pagan and esoteric Western traditions recognize the depth of his knowledge about universal forces. Different religions, different interpretations, same core truth. This wisdom works because it addresses something unchanging in human nature. And if you're tired of surface-level solutions that sound good, but leave you more lost than before, what comes next will completely shift how you approach your toughest choices. Drop wisdom in the comments if you've felt this decision paralysis. What's the hardest choice you're facing right now? Hit like and subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started. How ancient frameworks beat modern quick fixes every single time. Let's cut through the noise. Solomon's wisdom isn't about memorizing quotes or hanging inspirational posters on your wall. It's about rewiring how you process reality itself. And that changes everything. Here's what separates Solomon from every guru selling you their 5-step system. He understood that wisdom isn't about having answers. It's about asking the right questions. When you dive into Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, or the texts attributed to him across Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, where he's revered as Suleiman, you're not getting a blueprint, you're getting a lens. Let me give you something you can use right now. Solomon said, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." Sounds simple, right? But look deeper. Before making any major decision, you need to interrogate your true motivation. Is it fear masquerading as caution? Is it ego disguised as ambition? Or is it genuine alignment with your values? Try this immediately. Take that decision that's been haunting you. Maybe it's leaving a toxic job, ending a relationship that's draining you, or making a risky investment. Before you make another pro-con list, ask yourself, what's really driving this? If the answer is fear of what others will think, you're making someone else's decision. If it's chasing status to fill an emptiness inside, you're headed for disaster. Here's where it gets brilliant. Solomon also taught in Ecclesiastes that there's a time for everything. A time to act, a time to wait, a time to speak, a time to stay silent. This wasn't poetry. This was strategic timing. The same decision that destroys you today might transform you 6 months from now. Wisdom knows when to move. And this is where modern self-help completely fails you. It sells you the illusion of total control. Do these steps, get these results. But Solomon, he taught you how to navigate uncertainty with confidence. He never promised you'd always be right. He gave you tools to make powerful decisions even when the path is unclear. That's real mastery. Type timing in the comments if this resonates. What decision are you rushing that might need more time? Like this video and subscribe if you want more of this ancient wisdom applied to modern life. What religions don't tell you about Solomon's real power? Ready for something that might shake your entire perspective? Different spiritual paths interpret Solomon in radically different ways, and some of those interpretations were deliberately suppressed over centuries. Let's go there. In Jewish tradition, Solomon built the temple and spoke face to face with God. Christianity views him as embodying divine wisdom itself. But Islamic texts, they describe Suleiman commanding jinns, controlling winds, speaking to animals. Same historical figure, completely different narratives about his abilities. Why the disconnect? Now it gets wild. Western esoteric traditions link Solomon to ceremonial magic, protective seals, and manifestation practices. Pagan paths see his wisdom as ancestral knowledge that transcends religious boundaries. Gnostic texts hint at mysteries he unlocked that mainstream religions chose to ignore. And while Hinduism and Buddhism don't reference Solomon directly, their teachings on dharma and karma mirror his core principles of discernment and self-mastery. Here's the uncomfortable question nobody addresses. Why did certain traditions emphasize only his moral teachings while burying the deeper layers about personal power and transformation? What were they afraid you'd discover? Let's be real. Solomon wasn't just about being virtuous. He was about sovereignty, not over kingdoms, but over yourself, over your impulses, your fears, your reality. When he asked God for wisdom instead of wealth, he wasn't being humble. He was making the ultimate power move. The ability to see truth through illusion is worth more than all the gold in the world. Now, bring this into your present moment. How many times have you chased external solutions when the answer was already inside you? How many times did you pray for more money, better relationships, greater success, when what you actually needed was clarity about what to do with what you already have? This is the revolution Solomon offers. True wealth isn't what you possess. It's what you know how to do with what you possess. And that kind of internal mastery, no $300 online course can give you that. It requires something deeper, something that connects you to wisdom traditions spanning Judaism, Christianity, Islam, paganism, Eastern philosophy, and beyond. Comment sovereignty. If this hit differently, which interpretation of Solomon's wisdom speaks to you most? Like and subscribe, because what's coming next is this altogether. How to use Solomon's framework for impossible decisions right now. Time to make this practical, because knowing about wisdom means nothing if you can't apply it to the crushing decisions you're facing today. Let's build your personal decision-making system based on principles that outlasted empires. Step 1. Before any major choice, ask Solomon's core question. Does this align with who I'm becoming? Not who you are right now, who you're becoming. Solomon understood that every decision is a vote for your future identity. He used this to rule a kingdom. You can use it to choose a career path, a life partner, or where to invest your energy. Each choice is either building the person you want to be or destroying them. Here's the twist. Learn from Solomon's most famous mistake. Yes, the wisest man in history screwed up massively. He accumulated excessive wealth, married hundreds of women, drifted from his own principles. And you know what that teaches us? Wisdom isn't perfection. It's constant self-awareness. When you notice yourself veering off course, you correct. Simple as that. No shame, just adjustment. Deep spiritual traditions across Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and mystical practices all converge on one truth. Self-knowledge is the foundation of everything. Solomon mastered this so thoroughly, he could predict human reactions, anticipate consequences, see beyond surface appearances. That's the skill you're building. Third practical move. When torn between difficult options, use Solomon's truth-revealing test. Ask yourself, if I had to live with this choice's consequences for the next decade, which would I pick? The answer that comes without hesitation, without needing elaborate justification, is usually the true one. Because real wisdom doesn't complicate, it clarifies. Final insight that'll stay with you. Solomon had no internet, no therapy, no motivational podcasts, but he possessed something most of us lost. Enough internal silence to hear his own intuition. In a world screaming constantly, That might be the most valuable skill you can develop. Drop clarity in the comments and share this video with someone wrestling with a tough choice right now. Tell me the biggest lesson you're taking from this ancient wisdom. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this journey is just beginning.